So, do you all remember this controversy that happened a few months ago?
Dance! Not like that, kelp for brains! You call that dancing? Do it like this. Here I go. Put you on the planet. Ugh.
Yeah, so, there's a few problems with this show. First of all, a lot of the things in this show from the trailer were just really borderline racist. Like, it's a Latino family, and the town they live in is called Earthquake Hills. There's a yellow filter making the air look dirty, kind of like how it stereotypically is in Mexico. Some of the names of the Primos, or cousins, are really weird and sort of suggestive. And that's only scratching the surface! I love Disney Channel, but lately I feel like it's been slumping a bit. The only good show on Disney Channel right now is Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Disney Channel is having such a slump right now because Owl House and Amphibia ended, and I don't know if they're ever going to get picked back up with that. Listen, whenever a new Disney Channel show comes out, I go ahead and check it out no matter how bad it looks, because I have some faith in this network. However, I'm starting to lose my faith in this network. Hi, I'm CureInvdaer Zcat. I like to talk about anime, cartoon, and whatever I'm into at the moment. And today, I'm going to talk about the problem with modern Disney Channel and Primos. Quick little disclaimer, I do not mean to be racist if I say anything wrong. I just suck at pronouncing words in general. With a lot of just silly shenanigans. Alright, so to start this review off on a positive note, this show is actually better than Hailey's on It. I don't know why, but I just despise Hailey's on It with every fiber of my being, and I'll talk a bit more about that later. But Hailey's on It overall just has a cringy vibe, and I guess the show is a bit cringe, but overall it definitely has more of a structure than Hailey's on It, which I think is definitely the thing. Now, there isn't actually a lot to this show, so I don't have too much to say about this show. So if I'm gonna have to start off, let's talk about the main character, Tater. First of all, her name sounds like Tater Tot, which is funny because I was eating tater tots while watching this. Also, who would name your main character after a food? It's so dumb, right? It has been said that this show is based off of the creator's childhood and that Tater is based off of the creator, but if that's true, then the creator of the show was probably an annoying brat. Tater isn't the worst person on earth, and she's not a Caillou or anything, but she definitely is annoying. For example, in episode 1B, she didn't want to share a room with any of her cousins, so she basically stole their stuff and shoved them away, and she wasn't even gonna hear them out. The only reason why she heard them out was to get some playing cards for a game that was gonna last 20 minutes, which I honestly think is so stupid. I'm not gonna pay $20 in Monopoly money just to let somebody move into my house. I don't know anything about loan debts, but I don't think that's how it works. Also, people let her off way too easy. In the same episode I was just talking about, they gave her her own little corners for some privacy, which, yeah, I know they felt bad about invading her space, but she totally didn't deserve that after being a jerk to her family. Also, it wasn't even like they were invading her space, because it was her mom who told them they had to all fit in that little room. And there is no way they can fit in that little room. They're piling up on each other. How are they fitting in there? Don't tell me they make it work. I refuse to believe they can make that work. Like I said earlier, this show is based off the creator's childhood, and I think she went too far and maybe made some weird things based off of it. Even though this is a TV show based off of somebody's childhood, because it is a TV show, you may have to morph a few things to make the story a bit more interesting. I definitely think there are some weird things that come into play where she wanted it to be based off of her childhood, but the things didn't need to be there for the story. Like her baby brother. I'm not sure if he's ever gonna be relevant. Either they're just playing it really safe with this show, or a lot of the writers are really inexperienced, but that's honestly just a guess. I'm willing to bet that they're going with they're just playing it easy, but if these writers are sort of inexperienced, I wouldn't be surprised. The plots of the episodes are quite cliche, and overall, this is the most cliche cartoon to come out of Disney in a while. It honestly really feels like Big City Greens. The art style looks a lot like Big City Greens too, which I feel like is Disney's problem. I don't know why, but Disney thinks Big City Greens is like a gold mine. Like, sure, the show was successful, but shows like Owl House and Amphibia were much more successful, and I don't know why they're taking shows like Primos and not shows like Owl House and Amphibia. Now, Disney did cancel the Owl House, which I'm upset about, and Amphibia did end it, however, that was the creator's decision. I'm not mad that Disney ended these shows, what I'm mad is that they won't accept more shows like them. Especially since a lot of their other recent cartoons have been getting a lot of hate. For example, we're coming back to the dreaded Hailey's on It. Ugh, I hate this show. Listen, Hailey's on It, these writers absolutely have no idea what they're doing. I think the show was originally just supposed to be kind of a simple Hailey wants to do some things, but then they realized they needed to add continuity to make it popular, so then they made it all futury and dumb, and it's just really weird and really all over the place. You can tell they just threw it all together last minute. Also, one of the standing foundations of the show is that Hailey needs to kiss Scott, which I don't know how to make this clear, but we don't want romance. Listen, if you like romance, you do you, but me personally, I don't. If I want to watch a romance cartoon, I'll go watch some romance anime. But when I want to watch Disney Channel shows, it's probably because I want a good laugh, honestly. And Hailey's on It isn't even really funny. Also, it's one thing if Hailey wants to kiss Scott, but another thing is that they mention it all of the time. Hailey's on It advertisement, they mention it in the show all of the time, and it's even in the freaking theme song. It wouldn't be as big of a deal if they just didn't bring it up so much. Also, another problem with Hailey's on It, and I think this also kind of applies to Primos too, is the art style. Hailey's on It actually has it a lot worse than Primos here, because Hailey's on It, if you put the show on Adult Swim, nobody would even guess that it was at a Disney show. It looks just so bad and just so stiff. Ugh. Primos definitely has more of a cartoony style. Like I said earlier, it reminds me a lot of Big City Greens, especially the Primos with the pink hair looks a lot like a character from Big City Greens. Honestly, they look like Big City Greens character if they had normal skin colors. They also kind of have these crayon outlines, which I actually think looks kind of cool. My brother said, and I quote, "I don't like Tater's face because the eyes were far apart," but I think that was just to get the glasses on her. As an artist myself, I struggle a lot with drawing glasses, so I'm not going to get on them for making their face look weird. Also, can we please talk about how Tater has braces at 9 years old? Girl, what did you do to your teeth that do that to yourself? What? Coming back to how this show reminds me a lot of Big City Greens, one, I know I've been talking about the structure a lot, but it kind of has a simple family structure. This show falls into the category of Loud House, Simpsons, Big City Greens, and other sort of family cartoons like that. The problem with Primos is that we've just had so many family cartoons, and honestly, I'd watch them if I'm bored, or if it's airing, if I'm in a hotel and it's the only thing on, but it's not the type of cartoon I would really want to watch. If you like family cartoons, go ahead, you do you, but I overall just kind of like a story with more fantasy, but that's just my personal preference, and if you like family cartoons, then you do you. Also, once again, to the similarities between Big City Greens, Tater's sister Nellie reminds me so much of Tilly. Tilly had a few more brain cells, and she would honestly be Nellie. These characters are honestly just so similar. They get into similar shenanigans, and honestly, it just reminds me a lot of each other. Also, regarding the show being racist, which is what people got mad about in the first place, yeah, kind of. Another example of something that was based off of real life that should have been changed was Tater can't actually speak much Spanish, which is based off the creator. Even though they're Latino, they can't speak Spanish. But they try to make jokes about it. The way it executed isn't good.
I can't say that.
Now, the thing with modern Disney Channel is, with the exception of shows like Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, Disney Channel is just playing it really safe, and they've just been getting any show that seems like it'd be the next Big City Greens. For example, Kif. I don't think Kif is a bad cartoon. Like, I actually quite enjoy Kif sometimes, and I think it could be really funny, but they've been airing it a lot, and I feel like Big City Greens won't last forever, so if they're trying to get other shows. But like I said earlier, that is really weird considering that their shows in the style of Gravity Falls, Amphibia, Owl House are definitely more successful than Big City Greens. Also, regarding Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, please, I will send $1 million to your house if you watch this show. Please watch this show. It is absolutely fantastic. It was an Emmy nominee in 8 categories and got 5 Emmys, and there's only 30 episodes. Please watch this show. It's amazing. And the thing with Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is that they do not play it safe whatsoever. They have taken some really big risks and really big hops with things that honestly could probably start some huge controversy, but they took their risk, and at the end of the day, what was able to come together was a phenomenal cartoon for any age that anybody could watch. Also, just because a show isn't story-driven or doesn't have continuity, it doesn't mean it's a bad show. The Cuphead show and Bluey are amazing shows that don't have too much continuity. Also, if there is one thing I do actually really like about modern Disney Channel, is that they're the only cartoon company that's producing original ideas right now. Nickelodeon has not had an original idea in absolutely so long, and whenever they do have a good original idea, they always get neglected because all they want to do is focus on SpongeBob or Fairly Odd Parents, which is really annoying because I feel like some of new Nickelodeon original ideas like Rock, Paper, Scissors definitely deserve to shine a lot more than they actually do. Even if they're bad, at least they're original, and that could pave the way for more original ideas to come in the future. Anyway, those are pretty much my closing thoughts on Primos and modern Disney Channel, and I have to go because my dog just pooped in the house and we need to get that situated, so yeah, goodbye.